Who in their right minds would ever believe that a South African journalist would ever dare to attempt to preview the Belmont Stakes run in New York, standing at Epsom Downs, only a few days away from the greatest flat race on the planet, the Investec Derby? Well, he's wearing a cap that he got at Churchill Downs on the eve of Mubtahij's very special part of history when he ran in the Kentucky Derby. He's wearing a jacket that he got a few days before Mubtahij was so scintillating in the United Arab Emirates Derby. So we're going to try and tell you about an interview that we conducted at Gravel Racecourse with Mike de Kock after the running of the Woolhampton and the Daily News 2000, in which he ran second with both Pine Princess and Urtijal. It relates to a fantastic preparation that Mubtahij has undergone with the care of both Trevor Brown and Matthew de Kock at his side. He's got a new jockey to talk about, and that's Irad Ortez. We also have an interview with him. So let's see if we can give you the inside track to Saturday night's Belmont Stakes run just after midnight. Mubtahij bids to take on the mighty American Pharaoh.
He's going to be suited to the trip, Andrew, and I mean the Preakness was never really on. You weren't going to turn the tables on those three horses that ran first, second, third in the Derby. I mean, they're three awesome horses. Certainly this trip will suit us the mile and a half, slightly slower, deeper track, and it gave us a bit more time for the horse to settle into the new food he was on and also into American training regime.
The newspapers are abuzz with his workouts. The times are self-explanatory, but he's a horse that clearly has taken to New York, and having the odd SMS and WhatsApp message from Matthew, it seems like the team is very happy, headed up by Trevor Brown.
Yeah, listen, we're talking a number of times per day. I don't know, fear what my phone account's going to be at the end of the month, but the horse is doing well. I mean, he's handling his work. He's a very solid horse, very sound horse. He takes every bit of work you can throw at him, and you know we've been sticking a lot of work into him because he needs to be super fit for that race. And he's had he had a very easy month in April, so he was ready for it. But he's used to it. He loves working. He's just a real natural athlete.
We do it often, no matter where we're in the world, whether it's Dubai, South Africa. You know, if we're running on all weather dirt, we like to put a bit of turf work into it. You know, we find it's just we can work them harder and save their legs a little bit more on the turf as to the dirt. We'll still work them on the dirt, but not as hard as we would on the turf.
Well, he did come back and have another work this morning on the main track, kind of a sharper drill, I should say. Were you happy with the way you got over the ground?
Yes, very. Nothing against Churchill's ground, but I do find he's moving better on this sand, dirt, what you call it here. I don't know if it's more forgiving or just, I don't know what it is, but I do find him moving better on this track, yes.
Before we get to American Pharaoh, do you believe you can turn it around with Frosted?
I think anything that was within 6 lengths of him, he can turn it around on them. If American Pharaoh stays, he wins, as far as I'm concerned. But I'm sure that we can contest the placings, there's no doubt about it.
Just getting some feedback from the General. He sent me a very, very cryptic message saying that if you ever think you can beat American Pharaoh, the Belmont Stakes is the place to do it.
That Triple Crown is a very tough Triple Crown. You know, 2 weeks and 3 weeks. Ours are all a month apart. So there's a big difference. It's a lot of them have been turned over, and this is a race that horses have. And I mean, there would be a few that would be fancying their chances to turn it around with American Pharaoh. There's no doubt.
I was just looking at the official sort of Belmont trial, and I must admit I wasn't overly impressed with the one particular horse that won the Peter Pan.
But here comes Made From Lucky on the outside with a burst of speed. Made From Lucky's taking the lead. And 2 weeks off is given way. Conquest Curlinate is gaining ground on the far outside. Made From Lucky's got it close to home. Made From Lucky has won the Peter Pan.
He doesn't look like a horse that can turn American Pharaoh over.
I don't. You know, Andrew, I don't. It's very hard to gauge their racing. I mean, they go at different. They're at different paces that we used to. Completely different. They go fast early and slow late. It's very hard to read how good horses are there. For me, anyway. For us, I mean, that are used to sort of a European style racing. So, I mean, he just on the face of it, would have to, as everybody, improve out of their skin to beat American, or American Pharaoh fail, one of the two. If he doesn't come to the party, well, then anyone's got a chance. But if American Pharaoh turns up and sees the trip, we're running for seconds.
Look, he came back a clean horse. Obviously his gate speed was good enough to overcome draw one and to lead. Every post was a winning one. He just looks like a horse that will get the trip. I mean, I can't imagine that he won't get a mile and a half.
He's got a big stride, he's got a very economical action, and he relaxes wherever he is in the race. So, sometimes the good ones don't have to stay. They're just that good that they beat horses over any trip. Even if they're not a genuine mile and a half horse, they get it because they're so good.
I'm not even going to use the expression reading between the lines. The lines are categoric. His work has been very, very impressive by all accounts, and it looks like nothing has gone wrong, touch wood, in his preparation for this massive date with destiny.
Yeah, look, I don't like to count my chickens before they hatch. Honestly, we're happy with things as they've gone right now, and everything has gone exactly to plan. But as we know, this game, as we saw today, doesn't always go that way. So we'll hold our breath until Saturday.
Finally, Mike, we spoke literally minutes after he'd crossed the line in the Kentucky Derby. Were you happy with that run, or were you ever so slightly disappointed on what you'd seen in Dubai from Mubtahish? Because it doesn't look like that was really his run, that he was still acclimatizing, still getting used to his environs.
I don't know about acclimatizing. It's just all the different changes.
Yeah.
And I thought he never had a fair shot at it.
Yeah.
We got into a poor position in the race. Christoph wasn't his fault. I mean, he got the first turn, he got shuffled in where we wanted to be 4 deep, and right down the backstretch he just sat in the kickback. I mean, it's just impossible to run on from those positions. As you see on these tracks here, when they kick back and you get that kickback, you can't breathe. The horses can't breathe. So that's the position he was in, where he couldn't really breathe properly. He was coughing afterwards, and it just was full of sand. And it was just that's why I'm confident he'll run a hell of a lot better this time. I think. Anyway, you never know what happens.
Going back to Gulfstream Park, you went with Mike Smith, who knew the tracks intimately. It was successful with a great horse like Horse Chestnut. You've gone with a guy that from the year 2011 has emerged from 97th position on the jockey's log to 3rd. It's obviously a very well-planned strategy, this, Mike.
Look, he's a leading jockey at Belmont, and we thought that was important. I mean, there were a lot of names in the hat, and we had to wait for Christoph to see whether he could ride or not by the Thursday, and a lot of them had gone, and by chance we got Irad. But I think the fact that he's a top rider at Belmont over the last couple of years says a lot. That for me is very important, that he knows his way around there.
Has he had anything to do with Mubtahish's preparation? Has he ridden him in work?
He's worked him twice. He worked him this morning, and he's very happy.
Irad, you picked up your second ever Belmont Stakes mount with Mubtahish, and you've worked him twice now. I know you were on him this morning. How did you like the way he went this morning?
Well, first thing I want to say thanks to the trainer and the owner for giving me the opportunity, and he went pretty good. He went 5'8", and he worked 101, I guess. But easy, he did a good way, and when he pulled up after the breeze, the thing that I like about him is he was very fit. He don't even blow after the work, so he have the condition and he's fit.
Well, his trainer is a world-class trainer. He seems like he's been working him a great deal. Is it difficult for you to ride a horse for the first time in a big race like this, or do you feel like it's just the same, just any horse?
It's a little bit, it's an important race, but, I don't have no pressure. I'm going to try to do my best, and I'm going to try to do whatever the trainer told me.
You have to feel good about the fact that a trainer with this much international fame, Michael de Kock, is looking for you. It kind of says that people are recognizing the talent you are. Do you think the Breeders' Cup last year on Lady Eli kind of helped that?
Of course. I'm saying that helped me a lot. Lady Eli is a great filly. I don't say I make too much difference in the Breeders' Cup on her, because she's a special filly. She's a runner. I don't do too much different, but that helped me a lot, and I appreciate that. Chad Brown and the owners, and Mike de Kock is a great trainer, and I appreciate he gave me the opportunity to be on his horse.